Oh, Billy Bob.
Nicolas Cage, Sarah's actor of choice on the episode she did not appear on. What's up, guys, and welcome to Quick Diz Takes podcast, episode number 57. I am your host, Tim LeBeau, here as per usual with Mr. John Castano.
Hello.
Sarah Castano.
Hey, howdy, hey.
Stephen Lanzi.
Cheers.
And Sarah Patterson.
Hello.
Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast and rate us on Apple Podcast. If you get a chance, it is much appreciated and it really helps the show. All right, so today we have Expedition Everest in our continuing attraction series. We will spin the wheel of chance later on and eliminate another Disney attraction, probably another good Disney attraction because it seems to be the pattern here, and also a Disney show. And then we will place Billy Bob Thornton, which I thought was going to be a little bit of a tough one. So let's see. I'm curious to see how that one goes. I promise we'll go back to like the more versatile actors afterwards, or people with better catalogs, longer, bigger catalogs. Because I realized after, when I thought I was kind of being clever, that he was kind of a tough one to do, because although everyone knows who he is, mostly because of his rambunctious personality, he didn't have the biggest catalog of movies to select from to put in a Disney park. So, interested to hear that. Anyway, let's get going. Expedition Everest. And Sarah, because you were out last week, we will begin with you this week.
So one of my favorite parts about the ride is definitely the queue. And like you see all of the, like, I don't want to say merchandise, but like stuff that they have there, and it's all about the Yeti and like them trying to find him and stuff like that. So I feel like it's a really cool little entrance and showing off of like what the ride is actually about. And then I think one of my favorite things about the ride is when you just like see that broken ramp and then you just stop there and you're just like looking over, then all of a sudden you're just shot backwards into the dark. And then you're totally stopped, and then you just see the Yeti there, and then he like kind of like roars, and then you just start going right back down where you came from. All over, I do really enjoy this ride. I think it's one of my top 3 favorite rides. But if I want to be picky about it, I would say that like soon as you leave the ramp where you're getting on, and it's just like when you're approaching the mountain, and it's just really plain right there. I feel like it's just kind of like the trees that are there. There's nothing there. I feel like they could have added like more of a wintry kind of feeling about it. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't match the mountain. So I kind of thought of Narnia to retheme it.
There we go. I like it.
So when you're leaving the on-ramp, like kind of like make that into kind of look like a wardrobe. So like you're going through it. And then to make all that forest area more wintry and everything like that. And you can add like some of the beavers in there, Mr. Thomas. And then kind of like the ride is basically you're trying to get to the Queen's castle or house or whatever she is in. And you're chasing Edwin, trying to find him. And then the Queen is the one who breaks the track. So you see her like shattering the ice, and then right where that track is broken, you see the lion and how he always sees them like randomly, and he says like some wise words to the kids, kind of like says something to you, and then you're just shot backwards. So kind of keeping the same track of Everest. And then I kind of thought about the gift shop down there. So like you can turn that into a gift shop for Narnia. and then you have like the swords, the crowns, and they have like a little food stand right there, and it's like the jelly bonbons that she like makes with the in the little carriage that she has with Edwin. That's what I came up with.
Stepping up your game. Playing
Yeah.
a little Landsy's game there with the
I
merchandise
did.
too. I like
You
that.
mentioned it yesterday, and I was like, I want to do that.
I like that.
I would have to agree that the queue is like probably one of my favorite parts too. I like especially the beginning with the bells. I always like to ring the bells as you're walking by them, and then just that detail of the whole that whole story that you're in of using this company to go up the mountain, and it's just from the like they're different. They're like little. What is the word? They're little like shop, with like the registers, and like then there's the gear room with everything, and then you read about all the animals and everything, and the people that live, near the mountain and all that. It's just, and then that little like campsite that they found was destroyed and everything, and and just the footprints and stuff like that. And then I like the thrill of the ride with the whole, I wouldn't say many roller coasters do the whole forward and backward thing. So it was a nice little, especially when the first time you ride it, it's a nice little surprise if you're not sure. And then I like that they had added the that like shadow of the Yeti breaking the track up in that little one section instead of just staring at nothing. And then I don't know, my least favorite part is just that Yeti not working. Like everybody else wants it to work. I feel I don't know if I went on it when it first opened, but I feel like I've seen that thing move. So maybe I did. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look to see when I went, but I feel like I went that first year that it was open and saw the thing actually moving. I don't know if that's just a dream I had, or I don't know, but yeah. And I would say that's maybe besides Splash Mountain, that's like my favorite mountain in Disney World. So I guess it would be my second favorite mountain then. But with the whole re-theme of it, I tried to. It could have just rethemed it as something, but I tried to stick with the whole animal kingdom and how it's very, like the continent or country based. Well, I guess it's continent based. So you tried to stick with that whole Asia thing, and then it's could have got away with something just because it's out on the outskirts near that Finding Nemo, which doesn't really fit. It doesn't fit with the whole animal kingdom type, like their theming wise. But I went easy on it. I don't think you can change it from Everest because it's just it fits too perfectly there. And then that one picture spot you can take from like across the whole
Flexion pool.
That's just it's just too perfect of a spot. So instead of the whole Yeti thing, I was thinking maybe you could change it to you're still somewhat you're trying to climb Mount Everest, and then by the time you get to that top piece, there's an avalanche maybe, and that's your whole coming back down and backwards, and maybe they'd have to probably use some screen projection type thing to show, you've been chased by, snow and stuff, and maybe, you can add some stuff inside, but I just tried to keep it in the whole Everest way because I don't think you could get away with changing it, at least from that mountain.
So I absolutely love this ride. I love Everest. I love roller coasters in general. And, my favorite part, I do like going through the whole beginning. We see the photos of expeditions and things like that. kind of gets you in the mindset. It's Animal Kingdom, and I like how they took obviously a fantasy animal, that's kind of, legend, and did a ride about it. I love when it goes backwards. That's probably one of the most fun that I have on that coaster is when it shoots backwards. Just because it's rare that a roller coaster does that, So if I had to pick something if I had to nitpick something, because I do thoroughly, and I'll even say that the best part about the lines being so long at Avatar is that if you get to Animal Kingdom in the morning, you can do what I did. I literally went on it 12 times.
Wow.
In a row. Like walked on 12 times in a row. So that's how much I love this ride. If I had a nitpick, told you I like roller coasters. If I had a nitpick, I would say that they could add more. And I understand it's Disney, so maybe they're trying to. But you know what? When you go on the dinosaur ride, you really see that they're not afraid of scaring people. So I would love to see like a person, like an animatronic, kind of just reaching over the cliff, like run, telling you that and that's where the Yeti rips the tracks and you go backwards or something. A working Yeti would be really cool, but almost more like Dinosaur, where that dinosaur scares the ever-loving heck out of everybody, especially the kids, right? Where you turn and it's right there, like something more in your face, more thrill. I think. Maybe blood handprints would be a little too much, but why not? As far as, so I think they just kick it up a notch if you especially in the with all the photos and everything, and I think they could do that. All right, retheme. I really had a tough time with this retheme because it fits very well. Even though it's not a Disney movie, but I thought about The Land Before Time, where maybe Sharptooth rips the tracks kind of thing, and you're trying to you can put all, because it kind of fits in with the fact that there's dinosaur themes already. It could almost be a Monsters Inc. where you end up, welcome to the Himalayas, and and I think you kind of put that to it as well. Other than that, I like it. I like Everest. I like its theme. It's difficult for me to retheme it, but maybe something like that. But I just think they need to put more detail, more stuff like male animatronics that are warning you and are near death. So,
all right, Sarah.
So I also really enjoy this ride. The queuing is great between the flags. They took a lot of attention to detail. That little garden area where they have the statues with the offerings, they really brought the culture, I felt, into this ride and in this attraction, the queue and all. I liked that, like they were saying, like that little, almost like a visitor center. My boys love looking at all the artifacts. And of course, the longest spot we stood in line was right next to all the articles of the droppings. This was like just as Scat. It was right as he was learning to read. And so he likes Yetis to begin with. And then he was excited to read something because we were in line long enough. And of course, he's reading about poop. What, little kid doesn't like to read about poop. So that whole little section aside, but the supplies, all of that was really cool. I do enjoy just the overall feel. Like once you get into that queue, you really feel as though you're going on this expedition and you are getting prepared. It was almost as if they stepped up their game from the safari. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Kilimanjaro Safari.
Kilimanjaro, I was thinking Kadani, but that's different. When you go through that queue, these are your tour guides, these are the animals, this is a safari company. So they kind of stepped up their game. So that's always good to see too. I do like that it's an original idea. I enjoy that backwards piece. Although my favorite part is that when you're stopped and you just kind of have that like 20 seconds to kind of look around and like figure out what's going on. All the hair ties, you just see them. It's like a elastic graveyard. But it is kind of my favorite part because I'm like, wait, is mine in tight enough? You know, because I had to be picky, I guess, besides the broken animatronic, which everybody kind of laments, is the storage bag at your knees, really. It's the you can't even fit like those little mini lounge fly bags in there. It's literally meant to hold a water bottle and maybe a baseball hat. I feel like if you have even just that little bag, you can't stuff it in there. It's not going to fit. But that's like really super picky. I don't want to retheme it because it is so great and it is such an original idea. I was thinking if you could enhance it instead, enclose a portion of it and kind of blast the AC so you feel like you're in the mountains, add that snowy soap stuff that they shoot at you, have screens along with other camps, you know, base camps that are on their hike up, or maybe put those somewhere on the mountain as you're zooming by. If they have those piped in screams, or it sounds like you're being chased, like you hear footfalls in the snow, like that crunch, and you're not just running away because you think you might be near something, you need to be being pursued, I felt would be really cool. And I greatly dislike retheming within a movie IP, but I was thinking of Mulan. It doesn't fit in, well, it kind of fits in Asia. It fits in Asia. Of Mulan when they're running from the Huns, and you could have that kind of scenario play out. But I was also thinking, this one doesn't fit. This is Emperor's New Groove, and I'm a huge advocate. When they go into Yzma's laboratory, and she tells him to pull the lever, and you go through, and then you hear, wrong lever! And that's when you go backwards. Like, your whole ride is backwards, though. So instead of just that one portion, the entire ride. So you see your laboratory, you see the underground workings of it all. And I kind of really like that idea just because of how much I love Emperor's New Groove, but it definitely does not fit in this spot. I think they can just invest that money, enhance it up, get that animatronic working. For the love of God, Disney, please, you can do this. We have the technology. Do better.
I'm going to start what I don't like because it's the Yeti too, but it's the obvious thing. I guess the other thing I don't like about it, the ride, if I was nitpicking, would be maybe it could be a little longer because it is kind of a quick ride. Although I don't really find the duration to be too irritating, but if they could give me more, I'd take it. Let's see. I mean, it's just when they make a not so good ride, this is a ride you can use as a template to what a ride should be in Disney. It's, you know, the Splash Mountains of the world, the Tower of Terrors, they all fall in this mold of combining a good enough thrill and enough theming and immersion. Like you said, I think all you said, the queue is amazing. You know, it's pretty, for an outdoor queue, I mean, it's basically outdoor. It's awesome. And the ride from beginning to end, and even before the beginning, is awesome. So as you're even walking to it, and you know, especially if you come in like past Finding Nemo in that way, and you get that kind of view, like Johnny was saying, with a you know, it's coming down the hill. But both ways are good, but that way in particular, you're already pumped, right? And then the queue's awesome, the ride's awesome. I don't know what else to say about it. I do like the idea Sarah had about pumping some cold air in there. I wonder if they could even do that, just blast some AC even up in the in the mountain area when you first go into where the track is broken, just to give it. That'd be kind of a cool little feature if they could do that. As far as retheme, I had a hard time too, so I'm gonna take the easy way out. I'm gonna change the mountain a little bit, and I'm gonna retheme it to our own version of the Matterhorn, which it essentially is in a way. But I figured it's cool because then all those Disneyland nerds can get mad because we would have the better Matterhorn. So that's where I'm at with that. Because, you know, that is a thing. People, West Coast, East Coast, have this like pride thing of like, who has the better version of a ride. I'm always hearing about how much better the Pirates of the Caribbean and Space Mountain are down over there. And I don't know if it's true or not, but
yeah, they're not lying about the Pirates.
Yeah, it's one. I mean, I've been on. I guess we talked about it a lot on the news. I've been on it. It was 20 years, more than 20 years ago, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I did watch videos, so I'm pretty sure you're right. But I just think it's funny that the conversation even has to take place. Like, well, we got the better one, as if any of us built it or anything like that. Well, you get the original one, so, and the original Haunted Mansion. And I think those are pretty identical.
I did forget to include that I do enjoy that a good portion of the outdoor queue is covered, so there's plenty of opportunities for shade while you're waiting.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I think it's the last non-IP ride Disney has made. If it's not the last, it's one of them.
Yeah. Did it come out before or after Soarin'? That would be the only other one I could think of.
I think after. Well, it definitely came out after in general, because the original Soarin' opened up with DCA in 2001.
Yeah.
So
probably is.
So it's just, this is what a lot of the real Disney nerds want, you know? Continue to make these original attractions that have their own thing to them. Now, is this going to survive the it being its own thing, or are they going to make a movie sooner or later that somehow ties it in? Because not even Jungle Cruise is safe anymore. When I heard the news they were going to make a Jungle Cruise movie, I was like, wow, they're even going to, you know, they're just never going to stop.
I think I'm okay. I at least for me, I'm okay with that because they created it. You know, it's so. I mean, I would like more rides that are completely original, and if the movie comes after that, I mean, I think that's maybe a little bit better than just going, you know, like every new ride is going to be from an established movie. You know, I'd rather they use more of their creativity for these just completely unique rides. You know, like, I mean, you know, Tower of Terror. I mean, yes, it uses the Twilight Zone, which was an established show, but the theme of the ride, you know, with the hotel and you know, that was pretty original. So I would like to see more of that.
Yeah, I guess you make a good point. The only thing is, maybe if they change the ride after, though, to fit the movie, I mean, I don't know. I guess Pirates is all right. It doesn't really bother me. It bothers some people, but Johnny Depp's animatronic doesn't really bother me, I guess.
I think if they just put the same level of quality into the movie version of the ride like they did with Pirates, I mean, I enjoy that movie to begin with, but to have a movie of that quality that could carry on sequels after it and be well done based off of a 4-minute boat ride, if they put that much effort and storyline into it as they did for Pirates, if they do that with Jungle Cruise, I'll be a happy girl. But I'm saying, you know, the Haunted Mansion one was.
Well, the Haunted Mansion, that was my next point I was going to make. Now, imagine if they had changed the attraction of the parks to incorporate some elements from the movie. Would not have been happy.
No, I think when you look at the money that it made, they weren't going to do that. You know, I think there has to be a certain level of success for the movie. Like, you know, because Pirates was huge, and with Johnny Depp, it was huge. And the fact that Johnny Depp would go on the ride, you know, would dress in his Sparrow in Disneyland and surprise, you know, it just kind of really and you know what? Because it's not continual Johnny Depp. I mean, he has a few of them, but this other stuff in the ride, and it's fine, and you know, it's not. I don't believe it to be overly done.
No, it's not. They just tucked them in there a little bit.
Yeah, his animatronics are actually pretty cool. I mean, the way they have like the neck, you know, and like kind of move like them, you know, it's this technology is really something.
Yeah, I agree. And Disney is going to try take another stab at the Haunted Mansion here in the next couple of years, I'm hearing. And word out on the street is Guillermo del Toro was originally supposed to direct and write the movie. But now I'm hearing there's other drafts from other people, so I don't know. I think his might have been too dark for him, because he had actually tweeted out that he was on the third draft. and he is a big fan of the ride. He goes to the parks a lot, I guess, especially Disneyland. So and Pan's Labyrinth is my, I think, only experience really with him. It was a really good movie, so I would definitely be down to see that happen. All right, so I tried to get a better wheel so that we could see it on the screen better, but I had not accomplished that yet, so we will stick with our little wheel for now. And I will spin it now.
This is my favorite part of every week.
So we have the Tower of Terror. This is going to be a really difficult one or a very easy one, depending on what the next one is, what the next ride is.
Oh,
you
Christ.
no.
Get in there. Tower of Terror versus the Haunted Mansion.
Pass.
Oh, man.
Is it too late to say no, Whammy?
Actually, the correct answer is pretty easy.
I disagree. I know what I'm going to say already. Overall, I disagree. That it's easy anyway. All right. I'll start because I usually go last, but I'll start. Both rides are 10 out of 10. Tower of Terror has a thrill factor. Haunted Mansion does not. But Haunted Mansion was, at least to some degree, overseen by Walt originally and is a completely original Disney idea and my personal favorite ride in all of Disney World. So with that, I will keep myself brief and I will say Haunted Mansion, please.
I'm going to have to disagree with you and go for Tower of Terror to keep. I love the atmosphere in there, like how good the workers play their roles and being so creepy. I know they do it at Haunted Mansion too, but I don't know, I feel like they do it way better at Tower of Terror. And I just love the thrill of it. So I think we took so many roller coasters out already, so I feel like we need to have some thrill rides in there. So I'm definitely gonna have to go with Tower of Terror.
Skook?
Oh, I do enjoy how well themed Tower of Terror is, but I also know that for Haunted Mansion, there is always a good sized line for it, and you can have pretty long wait times for it, but it's literally a walk-on ride. It's a continually moving belt, except for, when someone with extended access needs to get on or off the ride. But for the most part, it's a continually loading and unloading ride, and it can move people through fairly quickly. Whereas that line for Tower of Terror, when you are waiting in that heat, and there's not a whole ton of shade, the last I recall, it's pretty awful to stand there in that heat knowing you have a very brief ride ahead of you. Thrilling as it is, I do like the theming. I like the ride. For some reason, some days it's fine, and other days my stomach is not happy with me when I ride it. But my stomach is never, ever unhappy when I ride Haunted Mansion, and that's where I'm voting to keep it.
All right. Steven?
I love both rides. Like you say, they're both 10 out of 10. So I love Haunted Mansion. It is great. There have been times when it's really been stuck for a while, and it's actually happened a few times to me, where you're just sitting there for a very long time. I love the details of Tower of Terror, like they have the hat, the stuff, that spider web. You know what? I'm just gonna I'm going to stick with Tower of Terror because of the thrill factor. And it doesn't matter which one I choose, though, because either way, I'm going to hate myself later. Like, so there's no getting around self-hate and guilt on this particular question because they're both great rides. I'm going to have to go with Tower of Terror just because of the thrill factor. And like Sarah said, we have lost in this little game that we're playing some other thrill rides. And yep, that's that.
Johnny, disappoint one of us, or two of us, I should say.
Well, Tower of Terror is like that. That lobby is probably one of my favorite parts of any ride anywhere. That detail that I would be happy standing there for 10-15 minutes if the ride was slowed down, if I could just stare and look into that lobby. And the ride itself is good. I think they added it used to be like 3 drops when it first started, and now it's like that randomized thing, so they did that. And the inside scenes are cool too, but then you got Haunted Mansion, who's just that nostalgia. They still kept a lot of old stuff, and any enhancements they made to it, they kind of kept it so it looked like the older stuff instead of having those things, like other things that stand out and say, oh, that's you could definitely tell that was done in the last 5-10 years. But what I think what it comes down to is, if I go to Disney, if I don't go on Pirates or the Haunted Mansion, I don't think I've never not gone to Disney and not ridden one of those 2 rides. And I've gone to Disney and not ridden the Tower of Terror. But if I didn't ride Haunted or Pirates, it would not be a complete Disney trip. So I have to go with the Haunted Mansion.
I knew it.
Thank the Lord.
And also because it could be either day. Pirates or Haunted Mansion is they're so close to me and my favorite ride. It's, I don't know. Today could be Pirates, tomorrow could be Haunted. So it's just I can't get rid of that.
Okay.
I knew ultimately that's what it would come down to too for you.
The last couple times we ride it 2 times in a day. Just I got to ride it multiple. It's just I can't not ride it.
So just so we're clear, Mickey and Minnie, Flight of Passage, Rise of Resistance, Smuggler's Run, and Haunted Mansion. We have now gone through 5 weeks of these eliminations, and we do not have a single thrill ride, unless you want to count Flight of Passage, which I guess is a little bit of a thrill ride, but not your traditional type of thrill ride. So
I would say Smuggler's Run is thrilling. It's not
in a simulator sense, but I don't know. There's just no actual physical non-simulator thrill rides in our park yet.
Yeah.
So,
you got that one little drop in Rise of Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
That little drop in Rise of Resistance. It's kind of
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Because this park's just going to be a nice, easy-going park.
This is going to be...
Just going to have a good time.
This is going to be...
It's all about the experience. It's all about the environment and the atmosphere. We're not here to make anyone sick. Just everyone's going to have a good time and very calm tummies.
I just find that, it kind of makes sense though, right? Because I think people that lean towards Disney over other theme parks are kind of dark ride fans to begin with, because what are they known for mostly?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we have mostly dark rides and a couple of really cool high-tech simulators makes sense. Although it's just a matter of luck too. The Tower of Terror could have beat a lot of rides if it was matched up properly. So
it also almost landed back on itself too, which I would giggle a little.
Yeah, we would
obviously just spin it again.
We respin at that point.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Hall of Presidents. Yes. Oh, but wait, what's it going against?
I got a feeling we're going to get Steven's favorite for some reason.
Oh boy. Indy, no.
Oh, this is a decent matchup. So, Hall of Presidents and Indiana Jones. Johnny, you want to walk the point on this one?
Sure. The Hall of Presidents, I think, is only for like a certain type of person. If you're into American history, that's pretty much the only person that's into it. Or you want to go fall asleep and sit in air conditioning for the time. But I mean, the Hall of like the whole, just the waiting area of the Hall of Presidents is cool. I mean, you get the presidential seal on the rug, which is only in the Oval Office and there. You got it's like a museum. They have all artifacts from presidents and first ladies and stuff, and they rotate stuff out every once in a while. And then when it comes to the show, you're pretty much guaranteed, if not, every 4 to 8 years, you're guaranteed a new animatronic. So at least it's not the same, the same show. And they do update the the video portion of the show periodically. And just the whole, I like the whole, every single president that's sitting there is moving or doing something. So you get the impression that instead of just a bunch of statues, like you just sit there and watch them. They look at each other. They move around. And then it's always a nice, it's like a nice tribute that, you're naming every president. They get their own little moment to, say hi or whatever. But, and then the Indiana Jones has kind of been, it's nice to go see. I don't do it every trip just because I think they've had so many opportunity to update that show, but it just kind of stays the same with the whole same, I guess you could keep that whole intro scene, I think, could stay, but then the whole thing with, you pick the audience members out, and there's always the plant in there, and it's just the same. It's the same thing over and over again. But then you get to see, if you're interested in movies, you get to see how stuff works. So, geez, I don't know. I thought this would be easier. I think I'm going to have to go with the Hall of Presidents. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Hall of Presidents.
Ramsey?
Oh, let's see what the social studies teacher is going to choose.
This vote's going to be over very quickly, I think.
So all right, so Hall of Presidents or...
Indy.
Thank
Indiana.
you. Thank you. Look, I love Indiana Jones. I love the movies. I've seen the movies. The Last Crusade is one of my top 10 movies of all time. Junior, I love the whole thing. No ticket. I can quote them. But honestly, the whole stunt, it honest to God does nothing for me. I love the movies. I think they're awesome. But I saw it once, and yep, cool. Saw the big boulder, right? That's what we all really go to see, right? As we remember from the movie. I have zero wanting to ever go back and watch it. It's just, for me, it's just not that appealing. There's also the car show, right? The stunt car show. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, you see it once, that's that. Hall of Presidents, I love, the fact that it's got the rug, it's got the portraits. Maybe there's a more limited scope of people who want to go do that. But the fact that a parent, can take their kid on and talk about, it brings the history. It's kind of interesting because it's kind of like what Epcot, is more designed to do, to teach and educate. Funny story, like really quick funny story. The watch on Bill Clinton is his watch.
Wow.
So he filmed it and he coughed during the, he was this, here's this guy talking, and then, like that. And so they play it back for him. He's in Disney, and they show him the animatronic and do the whole thing. And the animatronic went, and he goes, "Oh, why are you guys making me cough there?" And so, Mr. President, you coughed when you recorded. He's like, I don't remember doing that. And so they showed him the recording. He's like, yeah, that's really good. I can't believe I actually did cough. So I'll tell you what, because you guys did such a great job, I'm going to give you please put this watch right on that guy right there. And so the watch on Bill Clinton is actually is him. The fact that, and what I like about it, especially, today, is just, regardless of who the last person to speak is, to take pride in oneself, take pride in one's country, and understand that these were all individual persons. Yeah, they all have their own history. So I am a huge fan. I love the fact that Lincoln gets his moment to shine. The only thing I could have wished for, and this is, when I say nitpicking, this is like the nitpicking of nitpicking. When Daniel Day-Lewis was Lincoln, was filming the movie Lincoln, I wish they would have said, had him record that speech, just because the voice that he used was probably as close to Lincoln as we're going to get, just because it's in the higher register of what people believe. So my vote, all the presidents, all day, every day.
I'm going to jump in and finish the official voting, because I don't even think it's close for me. I just like the attraction. I've always wished this since I've ever seen it. I know they have the tradition, and I think it started with Clinton, with the current president speaking, which is it's great and all, but I kind of wish they hold off on that and then let 30 years go by before they get to the president 30 years prior, because I think for me, as a history nerd, I'd like to hear some more memorable speeches from the guys. You get Lincoln, but I would like to hear, Roosevelt or Kennedy's speech, more of that stuff. But I mean, it's just nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking, but you would really get more history, or maybe get Washington up there, get Washington to say a little more.
That'd be a really good idea, because they have the balconies kind of surrounding, so you could start with Washington's first inaugural, we have nothing to fear but fear itself, and then go to ask not what, the whole thing, and just kind of tear down this wall, and just kind of go right around.
That brings you to more of what's going on in the time. But other than that, they're not gonna do that, so whatever. But I love the attraction, so Indiana Jones doesn't even stand a chance.
I'm gonna be the odd one out and say
I knew that was coming.
Indiana Jones. I do agree that it definitely needs an update and everything. It can just get repetitive. Something you definitely don't go to every single trip. But the Hall of Presidents, I think I'm just not into it. I'm not a history person.
You're not chasing air conditioning this time?
No, I'm not. I feel like that's the only good part about it, would be just the air conditioning.
And I know where the next vote's going, but let's hear it.
I love Indiana Jones. I like the whole trilogy. I have a lot of memories of watching Indiana Jones movies with my dad, watching them over and over. My dad and I really enjoyed it. It was a cool bonding thing for us. But we've talked about it before, and Sarah just said it needs to be updated. It's the exact same show since forever. And I understand they can't add stuff in that didn't actually happen, because that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is the stunts that were used in the film. So we talked about maybe adding in some of the newer movies, bring in those stunts.
No.
But they don't.
Please don't.
Don't do that. Keep it that way. Don't bring that in.
I say get rid of it and build a huge dark ride over there, but.
And I do like the big theater style, because there's always room, but at the same time, my inner nerd is such a happy little being. It's the only other place that the presidential seal is other than the White House. It's got cool stuff. I feel like, politics aside, I feel like the Obama administration brought new life into that. It felt like it was it seemed like a more relevant update to what was in that lobby when you first walk in and you're waiting for the next show. There's so much, and it's not just air conditioning and nap time or whatever. I have a lot of good memories. I was kind of filling Landsey in earlier. One of my favorite memories of that place, we had just gotten, I was like 10 or 12 years old, and our family had just gotten their first camcorder. I'm pretty sure I annoyed the living daylights out of my mother because all day I wanted to film something with it because I thought I was so cool. I mean, I am. But I wanted to film in the Hall of Presidents, and I wanted to do this very cinematic shot and like zoom in on each of the presidents, except I had no idea what order they were in. I mean, I know the order of my presidents, but I didn't know where on the stage they were. And so like I decapitated Clinton by accident. By the time my hand got to the next president, like it was shaking and I didn't have like an armrest to balance. So I gave somebody like Parkinson's because the whole movie is like this, trying to find but the whole point is I have far more memories enjoying that with my family than I do the exact same show that we've seen every single time, just because the lines are too long for something, our dining reservation wasn't ready yet, and Indiana Jones has open seats again. I'd much rather keep Hall of Presidents than Indy. I feel like Indiana Jones is the OG national treasure, just saying.
We will wrap up with my personal favorite segment of this podcast, and that is placing our celebrity of the week, who is Billy Bob Thornton this week, and I guess just into the park anywhere. It's gotten to the point now where we can either make a ride for him, you can theme a ride after movies, now you can do whatever you want, really. So it's kind of a free range thing. Sarah, I know you don't really know who Billy Bob Thornton is too well, but I know you must have came up with something. So what did you come up with?
I could not come up with really anything because I have no idea who he is. But I did look it up, and I saw Bad Santa.
Yes.
So I kind of thought of like when Disney is doing their whole Christmas thing, just kind of like throw a couple of animatronics of him dressed up as Bad Santa, saying some lines, and that's all I could really think of.
Well, I love the idea, and you obviously have not seen the movie. I'm not quite sure if there's anything that guy says or does in that movie that could possibly be accepted in a Disney park. However, that movie is amazing. That movie.
You could put him in like the American Adventure at Christmas time, like an hour before closing after everybody's drank around the world. And you can throw the Bad Santa out there and everybody's in the bag. That's about it.
Is that your idea, Johnny?
No, that's not my idea.
Oh. Okay. Skook, come up with something on this one?
I did. So we're going to retheme Mission Space because I feel... Oh, no, Landsey, I'm sorry.
You'd think, yeah.
Sorry,
wait, is this going to be an Armageddon one?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I thought about this. I'm glad I didn't do it.
So we're going to retheme Mission Space. Originally, I was thinking Soarin', and I was like, oh, nobody likes Mission Space. Just change that. So we're going to replace Mission Space with an Armageddon-style ride and take his character as Dan Truman, who kind of organizes the NASA geniuses. So your experience on this ride is you are this random Mod Podge crew. You're inside the rocket that they're going to send up. So you're navigating through space, landing, digging to place the blasting things to kind of drill and detonate before return back to Earth. But I was thinking along the lines of a ride like Star Tours. So you could have a whole ton, instead of it being Mission Space, you could have a whole ton of these rockets that are going at the same time, and it would utilize that same technology, and it has that like simulated motion, like you're really moving, but you're just kind of in this enclosed pod type deal. And then that's kind of your experience, is you're the team that's going up to save the world, and sometimes you're successful, sometimes you're not. Plot twist.
So what happens at the end of the mission when you're not successful?
You exit out of the park.
Okay.
I
I know, like, when you're not successful in Smuggler's Run, a cool part of that ride is when you leave your pod, the outside, like the walkway to go back outside of the ride is like there's like wires sparking and like it looks like your ship's been damaged. So, and then
Well, I mean, if you fail, then I guess Earth explodes and it's
you just leave and there's no Disney anymore.
yeah, you leave the park. Sorry.
So, Lindsay, what was your
My friend.
idea? Or was it exactly the same?
It was exactly the same. Mission Space is actually one of my, if not my favorite ride. Honest to God, I mean,
The orange?
growing up,
Green all the way for me.
I mean, I think everyone, I think most people at some point go through like a little stage when they're a kid where you want to be an astronaut. You want to know what it's like to go up in outer space. And this is as close as any of us are going to get. I mean, they actually use NASA astronauts to test the ride. So, yeah, so basically I was going to do the exact same thing. So now on the fly, I'm going to come up with another idea. So we just talked about the Hall of Presidents. All right, here's what I'm thinking. You have a Presidents in Hollywood wing where you have a whole slew of the different animatronics of presidents in movies, like meaning by actors. So you'll have Michael Douglas's Andrew Shepard from The American President. You'll have Morgan Freeman from Deep Impact, and you will have Billy Bob Thornton he played the president in the movie with Hugh Grant, Love Actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have him as the president that he played in Love Actually in the Presidents in Hollywood wing, and it's not as good as my first idea, but seeing that, I had to come up with a different idea on the fly. That's all you're getting. That's as best as you are getting after what was in this class. So, but I still think that'd be pretty cool to see, to show different video clips of, different actors playing a president, just kind of like 30-second scenes, just kind of an endless loop. And I don't know, I think that'd be kind of interesting, honestly. And in that clip would be Billy Bob Thornton from Love Actually.
All right, Johnny.
Mission Space. No. I have this pretty much the same thing. So now I have to go to his IMDb quick. He played Davy Crockett in The Alamo. Okay, so we're gonna go with that.
Oh, man, I forgot about that one.
We're gonna throw him over.
Remember The Alamo. Sorry.
In Frontierland, and he's gonna be I don't know. He's gonna be a walk around character in Frontierland. That's I don't know. That's about all.
Yeah, he was a tough one. He was tougher than I thought. I thought I was being
trying to see Friday Night Lights, but I don't know where to throw Friday Night Lights in Disney because there's no unless you throw them in Wide World of Sports somewhere. But
yeah,
no. The Allen.
Yeah. All right.
He can be inside of what's it called? Pecos Bill. He could be a Sunny Eclipse character in Pecos Bill as Davy Crockett, entertaining you as you eat.
So I was thinking that I'm going to make him a Sunny Eclipse type of character. I don't necessarily really have a particular quick service place I would put him. So whatever one works, when I submit this paperwork to the Imagineers, they can make that decision for me. But he's definitely going to be his character from, Carl from Sling Blade. And he's going to present you with your food, or at least he won't be able to present the food, but he'll be near where you're presented with your food, and he'll talk about your food accordingly to his own way of putting things. Like, if you get French fries, you're going to have French fried taters. If you order the large, you're going to have the biggins. And it'll just be that whole shtick, because to me, that's probably his best movie. And I mean, whatever, it's all personal opinion, but that's an excellent film. And His character's awesome, and it's one of the memorable one. And his performance in that movie was pretty exceptional. So I think it warrants an appearance in a Disney park. So probably Epcot somewhere, I would say. Next week, somebody here give me an actor, or actually let's do an actress first of all. We're very actor heavy, so let's do an actress. And I'm not gonna pick it. I'm just saying let's do an actress though.
Sandra Bullock.
Meryl Streep.
All right. Let's do Sandra Bullock next week and Meryl Streep the following week. How's that? Sarah, are you up to par on those two? Are those two all good? Yeah.
Sandra Bullock is good.
All right, we got to do your homework on Meryl Streep a little bit.
Yeah, I will.
And while you're doing that, take the time to watch Devil Wears Prada because it's amazing. All right, Sandra Bullock next week, Meryl Streep the week after. Where do we want to go with the attraction? Does anybody have a suggestion?
What about Tower of Terror? Have we done that one?
If not.
Oh yeah, because the only thing we did from Hollywood was Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Which was kind of out of the fabric of this whole thing. Anyways, it's not really a ride.
Yeah.
So Tower of Terror. Okay.
Or Rock and Roller Coaster.
Can we do a twofer with those two?
Okay.
Would that be easy enough?
Okay.
Or would that be too much?
Which two rides?
Tower of Terror
Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah, I mean they just because of where they're situated, people typically. So I think that works out well.
Yeah, we'll give it a whirl. See if we can. We won't. You know what? Maybe we won't retheme next week. Maybe we'll just. We'll pick one to retheme, and the other one will just be a quick. What do you like? What do you don't like? How's that? And whichever one you want to retheme is your choice. That'll keep it easy. So we're not on here forever talking about those two. All right. So that about wraps it up.
Do you want to wave bye?
Yes, Sarah, that is a great idea. One of these days we are going to throw Betty White in there. And it's too bad we couldn't put her in the Golden Girls house. Does anybody remember the Golden Girls house on the back lot?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually went to that, to show my age a little bit, I actually went to that park the year it opened, and that may have been my favorite thing besides the Great Movie Ride in that park, because it didn't have much. It was only the Great Movie Ride basically in the backlot tour. And
I loved the backlot tour, and Catastrophe Canyon was the best.
Yeah, that original backlot tour from way back when. I don't know how long the original one lasted, but that was like a 4-hour ordeal. I remember at one point they actually put you into a quick service dining area as like a break in the action. And I remember seeing like the Mickey Mouse Club filming down there and everything. And they actually filmed things on the lot. But anyway. All right, so that's going to do it for us. Check out the Quick Diz Takes Facebook page, which I did not mention at the top of the show. Instagram coming soon, and website coming soon, which I'm excited about, but I have to get on my A game for that. So maybe end of May. Like, share, and subscribe. Rate us on Apple Podcasts. And also check out Quick Diz News, which is now being posted on Saturdays. And we will have some bonus episodes coming up as well with Johnny and I. And we have some guests coming on. We have Jeremy Eason and Philip Schwartz from Cast Conversations. Lynn Barron from the Sweep Spot. He was a former cast member at Disneyland on the custodial department, who actually has written with his podcast partner Ken and himself had written 2 books, actually published books on the podcast. On the topic of cleaning the kingdom. I actually have one on its way from Amazon. I'll be reading that book before we talk to them, and a few other guests as well. I'm not going to give them all away today, but yeah. So a lot of things going on in the podcast, and obviously keep an eye out on the Quick Diz Take YouTube channel, for more videos and things like that. All right, so that's it for us, and have a good week.